Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I said I was sick and not going to record, but I can't not talk about the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Very excited to talk about this. Unfortunately, I'm, everybody's kind of in, what's the word? I forgot what I was going to say. It doesn't matter because I have Trey here, and Trey actually was at the LA event. So hi, Trey.
Hey, man. Hope you aren't as sick anymore.
It's funny. Also, the word I was looking for was indisposed. But again, Trey actually got to be at the event, so I was like, "Hey, you gotta have Trey on." No, I'm good. So funny story. In mid-October, and it's hilarious because the way I've been able to track how I've been doing is with the podcast. And like knowing, okay, I know what I said at what point where. So middle of October, and I remember it because it was our live stream recapping DC Fandom. I felt like shit. And that was the week that I had to go to the hospital because I was like feeling all weird and dizzy and didn't know what was going on. Turned out I just had the flu. And I knew it was the flu because they tested me for both that and COVID, got a negative COVID test. Hallelujah. And then I was good for a week. And then I felt like shit again. And a little bit longer than a week. It was about a week and a half. And then I'm like, oh, but around this time is when like me and my entire family normally all get a cold anyway. Especially it doesn't help because our allergies are all crazy because here in Pennsylvania, you can experience all 4 seasons in an hour. So we kind of had the issue, or I had the issue. It was like, okay, well, it was 60 degrees yesterday and now it's 30 degrees. So my allergies are out of whack. That has to be the problem. And I'm like, oh, well, it's been about a week. Maybe I have a head cold. And then later into that week, my girlfriend is also sick and seems like she has my head cold, which would make sense. And then a couple days later, she's like, hey, we have a problem. I can't smell anything. And I was like, oh, cool. So all parties involved, like her and my family, we're all getting tested. Everybody inexplicably but my dad comes back positive. I don't know how my dad dodged that bullet. I don't know how. Same thing happened whenever swine flu was a thing. Me, my whole ass family, all get sick except for my father, who's like, and we're all breathing on him and shit. There's no reason why he should be the only person who doesn't get sick, but somehow my dad dodges the bullet 2 pandemics in a row. But yeah, I've never, again, hey, vaccines work. I felt nothing worse than a head cold. So I'm lucky. I'm very happy. Like I said, everything's been very minimal. I've felt like I had a cold this whole time. So nothing too major. We're going to be getting retested here soon and gearing up to get back into the world because unfortunately it was a little later than I would have liked to have realized it was COVID. But again, between everybody in my family pretty much being vaccinated and the fact that like this is around the time of the yearly cold, I didn't have that like, maybe I should get my brain probed, but all is well. And again, I'm very thankful you're taking time out of your day to talk about the trailer. So enough about me and my ailment. Get Trey to LA. Would you like to tell that story before we jump into the trailer talk proper?
Yeah, so I think it all started because Brendan Davis from comicbook.com tweeted something about how they moved theaters for this fan event and he had 30 extra tickets. and he's figuring out a way to give them away. So I replied and was like, if I buy a plane ticket, can I get a ticket? And I was just like, see what happens. And then I have a group chat with a bunch of my Twitter friends, and they just all started spamming him, get Trey to LA. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't know if I came up with it or if someone else did. And then I don't have Twitter notifications on at most times of the day, but I turned them on for Brandon Davis. People. Yeah. So I turned them on for Brandon Davis. And then he tweeted, okay, so, and then I was like, okay, something's going to happen. Like he's going to show how to get the tickets. And then he tweeted, okay, how to enter. Here's the email. Tell me your name, how many tickets you need, and then send me a screenshot listening to my podcast, Phase Zero. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I did that, and I was like, holy crap, I did this within a minute. Like I sent him the screenshot, everything within a minute of him tweeting. Like no one could have beat that because he said first come, first serve, like for the tickets. And then he replied, he said like, okay, cool, got it. You'll hear from Sony soon. Thanks. And then I was like, oh man, I may have girl bossed too close to the sun. I may have gotten myself in a situation, but and then I was like not hyperventilating, but like my heart was racing because I was like, either I'm going to LA or there's going to be one empty seat at this thing because I just got a ticket. So I was like, oh no, what did I do? But yeah, so I basically then tweeted like, oh my gosh, get Trey to LA worked. And then Brandon Davis retweeted me, which was cool. And then I'm sure we'll talk about the event itself, but I'll skip forward just a second to mention part of it. I saw him at the event, Brandon Davis, and I like went up to him and talked to him and was like, hey man, I just want to let you know I'm Trey. I'm the guy from Florida who flew all the way here. I just want to thank you again for this experience because it's been pretty awesome. And I just wanted to be, grateful, and he was like super cool and was just like, that's crazy, man. You flew all the way from Florida. That's awesome. And I just like shook his hand and stuff. And then this was cool. Sony was like recording the event. Like they had cameras there and stuff. And they like pulled me aside and were like, hey, can we interview you for this thing? And I was like, oh yeah. So then they interviewed me and they were being like, so what did you think of the trailer? And I was giving the most like politically correct marketing terms I could do. Like I was like, I'm so excited to see Spider-Man No Way Home starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon in theaters exclusively December 17th. I am so excited for this movie. I cannot wait to see it. After, like I was like saying all the actors who've been confirmed back, and I didn't say anything about the other, Toby and Andrew. I was just like, the swinging looks amazing. This cinematography looks really great. The action scenes look awesome. I cannot believe what John Watts created. Like I was just saying all these buzzwords to get them to be like, okay, whatever we're going to use in this, we're going to use this guy. So then I was like, I came all the way from Florida for this. So I'm hoping like if there's like a Blu-ray, like I don't know what they're going to do with that footage. They filmed a lot of it and they posted like a Twitter video of the event, but like a ton of stuff was not included. So it might have just gotten cut, like left on the cutting room floor, but I don't know. Maybe it'll end up somewhere.
I hope you end up on like some special edition, like from like the
if I'm on the Blu-ray, that'd be really cool. That'd be epic if there was just like a special features. It was like trailer event, and they had like 5 minutes of footage versus like a minute 30 that they posted on Twitter. That'd be cool.
That'd be so funny.
That'd be so funny. It in like a TV spot or something.
Oh my god! If you end up in a trailer, like everything is perfectly
TREY dash layer trailer.
Yeah. But like you were saying, like how was the event? Like it looked like they just filled up a trailer with some Spider fans, and Quirky Merc's manager, Mr. Coy Jandrew, was talking to Spidey himself, Tom Holland.
Yeah, I mean there were some cool people there. One of the more interesting people I met. You're on TikTok. You know Soups, right?
I am familiar with Soups. Yes, I saw the picture.
That's Soups and I. I was like, it was so funny because like everyone was kind of like you could hear him during the trailer because he was going like, oh, just screaming. It was so funny. But I've made fun of Soups for so long, and then I was like, hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. Can I get a picture with you, bro? And he was like, of course, man. And I got a picture with him, and I was like, thank you so much, King. And it was great. I'm honestly like, he was cool though. Like in person, I'm like, I'm not gonna crap on him. He was cool. So
it is very possible. I think it's worth noting that it is very possible to go, I don't like your content, but you're a good person, and like I don't mind you as a human being. Like, you know,
he was
like
fun.
clown on what he posts, but like
I'm
he's
extremely jealous
fella.
of him and like the stuff he gets to do. So
yeah, him,
but,
Straw Hat Goofy, you know,
yeah. So I get to the event, and I get there at 2 p.m. It says the doors open at 4. So I start my day in LA and in West Hollywood. I got breakfast and then went to the Chinese theater. And then I Ubered from West Hollywood to the Santa Monica Pier, which is that's pretty far. And then I Ubered from the Santa Monica Pier to I have the ticket that they gave me in my wallet. This thing. Admit one, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, wait, let me big screen you so we can all take that one in. There you go. Oh, hell yeah.
With a terrible poster on it. That thing is just wretched. But so I was Ubering around, and it was funny. I brought the book Dune to the pier and was just reading Dune there, which was pretty cool. But I get to the event, and there's probably like 60 people ahead of me, and I feel like pretty good. Like I know I'm gonna get in at this point because I'm 2 hours early. I guess there have been fans lined up like as early as 9 a.m., but they were people who didn't actually have the tickets. So they were like in a separate area for like overflow. Like if there were extra seats, they could get in. So there was that side, and there was my side. And I'm probably 70th out of like 500 people. So I was pretty good. I got pretty good seats and stuff. And then I wait like hours, and hours go by, and I get in, and they're like, what's your name, vaccine card ID? And I show them all that stuff. And they were like, okay, I was like, William Mitchell, because that's my legal name. And they were like, we don't see that. And I was like, no, I'm on the list. Brandon Davis gave me a ticket. I have the email. And then I was like, the last name is Mitchell. Like, do you have like a Trey Mitchell? And she's like, yeah, we have a Trey Mitchell. And I was like, oh my God. That was terrifying. Can you imagine if I didn't get in? I did all that. I would have just cried.
Oh my God. You live in LA now. Like you just stay there in exile.
I was like, I cannot go back. I'm defeated. But so, yeah, I get in, and then I wait in line I have some pictures. I wait in line for a little bit, and there's like this like giant like LED screen with the like Spider-Man No Way Home thing on it, which was cool.
That's kick-ass.
Yeah. And so that was nice. And then we finally get in the theater and sit down and stuff. And this was my view here. So not too far away.
No, you had a pretty good seat.
Yeah. So it was nice. And then we watched the trailer, and Tom Holland like came out and like ran right next to me. Let me see. Sorry about this. So he comes out and like runs right next to me. He's right there.
That is amazing. That is so cool, bro.
I'm like freaking out. And I filmed a vlog there that I'm currently editing, so everyone who wants to see it can see my experience there, which will be a cool thing.
We will absolutely be sharing that with any TNAP socials, so everybody keep your eyes out for that.
So Tom Holland came out, and then he's like, "What's up, everyone?" And then was talking, and then they showed the trailer. Trailer happens. We all freak out. Tom Holland cries. I cry. Everyone's crying. And he does like a bit of a Q&A and stuff and talks about it. And Koi was just amazing. It was so funny because I just saw him in New York. I was like right next to him in New York. And then I flew to LA and was like right next to him. And I'm like, I'm following this dude from coast to coast. And he has no idea who I am. So That was good. And then afterwards, kind of just left and I hung out with one of my friends, Nikki, when we went to Disneyland and stuff like that afterwards. So that was cool. And yeah, that was pretty much it. But it was crazy. Like all in a day, I slept at a hotel for like 4 hours Tuesday night because my flight back was at 6:30 and my flight out was 6:30.
Oh, good God.
So it was like just a day of travel, and it's a 5-hour flight. So it's not quick. So I've been kind of recovering.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I would absolutely need a recovery time for that. I know I was the only time I've like traveled via plane was November 2019, going to Florida to go to Disney World with my cousin, and I was like on my way back and from. I was like, man, I need to sit down. Like I need 5 minutes, put my ass in a seat. So I can only imagine the hustle
Then
and
walking
bustle.
around LA all day, like not having any form of transportation. It was kind of
No.
scary.
Yeah, I'm sure, but yeah, keeping up with your adventures in Los Angeles and the Get Trey to LA stuff, it was a lot of fun to watch, and
It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't know, it made me happy. And it's weird because I've only recently, like in the last year and some change, had the moment where like I stopped quantifying like other podcasters and other people I've met in this space doing this stuff, where I've stopped doing the whole like I'm going to quantify the people I've befriended doing this as my internet friends, and that having some weird caveat attached to it, that it's like, well, I've never met this person, but ... And I was like, that's lame. Like y'all, like all y'all are my friends. And I had this moment where I was like, my friend's in the trailer. This is cool as shit.
Yeah.
You know? So like I was excited for you and counting the seconds. Because I've wanted you to be a part of like most of the No Way Home coverage we do over here, and with the Get Trey to LA, I was like, if he pulls this off, I'm gonna shit, and I cannot wait to talk to him about it.
The end game time travel sequence of nerd Twitter, where I was just like, if we can pull this off, it can be amazing.
I'm just seeing you like walking through like the gates at the airport with like Cap's speech before they all quantum into the.
I honestly said whatever it takes. That was it. Whatever it takes. I was down. But yeah, it was awesome. Super cool experience. I will be honest. When they hyped up that event, I completely thought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be there. Like I really thought that they were gonna, or if they weren't there, they were gonna like bring out like the fearsome five or whatever we're gonna call these villains. That like all of them would come out. Like I was pretty surprised that it was just Tom Holland, or at least like Zendaya too.
Yeah. I
don't know if I would have done it all if I knew it was just Tom Holland. It was awesome, but like if beforehand they were just like and Tom Holland, I probably wouldn't have went. But it was still worth it. I just. Like I really thought they were going to bring out more people.
Yeah, I was equal parts surprised and relieved they didn't handle it exactly that way. Real quick before we do actual trailer talk, do want to throw over to our sponsors over at Sunday's Bloody Mary. Trey, this is the first time I'm going to subject you to the ad read. Sunday's Bloody Mary mix. You guys know this has become my jam. The award-winning spicy Caesar Bloody Mary mix has become one of my favorite things on the planet. They have a mild mix. They have a subscription box. Vegan Bloody Mary mix, rim salt, shot glasses, different pickled garnishes. They got okra, dilly beans, and asparagus. I am an asparagus guy myself. All manner rather. You can tell COVID brain behind myself here. All manner of badass Bloody Mary accoutrement. If you guys are interested in getting any Sunday's Bloody Mary swag, be sure to go to their website and use code TNAP TNAP at checkout. I love it. Like I said, that spicy Caesar mix is incredible. I love Bloody Marys. I very much used to be like, I only make myself Bloody Marys like on my way out of work, like during my like free drink on the house at the end of my shift when I have all of the stuff in front of me. I normally would be very much like, oh, I like to make them where I have all of the resources and like good shakers behind the bar. But when I'm making one at home and I'm trying to see if I'm going to be allowed to start bringing some of this stuff to work, I cannot recommend the spicy Caesar enough. It is just perfect. And it's a good, it's good to like not only just be a breakfast Bloody Mary, because I know that's the time most people get their Bloody Mary on is in the morning. But it's good anytime, like there are some Bloody Marys that like I've had that I've gone, I would only want this during the daytime because it's like super mild or something like that. But cannot recommend the spicy Caesar enough. Highly recommended. Code TNAP at checkout. Get 10% off your order and help out some of your favorite nerds. All of that said, Trey, what'd you think of the actual trailer itself?
I wish at the end there was a little tease for the other two people, but besides that, it was perfect. I really like seeing all the villains. I think a heavy emphasis on Goblin and Ock. Like I'm curious what Doc Ock's relationship with Peter is going to be, because it almost feels like he's like talking to him like as a peer instead of like a villain when he's in that Doctor Strange prison or whatever he's in. But it was awesome. Like the last 30 seconds of it were just really crazy. And that shot of Spider-Man jumping off to save MJ is nuts. And seeing the Goblin again was like, that's just awesome. It was a really good trailer. It looks really dark, like a dark MCU Spider-Man movie, which is something I don't necessarily think I would get after Homecoming, but I'm really excited for it. And I just think it looks great. Like there were shots in it that I was like, this is a beautiful shot. Like Peter swinging in a forest looked amazing. The opening shot
the black
of him
and gold suit where he's like charging the magic
and he's FaceTiming MJ and Ned. Like he has like a phone taped to his chest. He's like FaceTiming them. But it was awesome. Electro looks like absolutely awesome. I cannot wait for them to play his theme again, hopefully, because his theme absolutely slaps. From The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a great musical theme by Hans Zimmer. It was really good. There's also been a lot of TV spots that just came out yesterday, and those really like showed like a lot of really interesting stuff, possibly even more than the trailer. But it was between those two things, like I'm definitely satisfied with the amount of footage I've seen. I don't need to see like a lot else. I'm just like ecstatic and cannot wait. Tickets go on sale a week from today, so I'm excited to get my tickets.
Yeah, with the TV spots, and I saw the one that's been making the most rounds, where again it's back to the sixth member of the Sinister Six, the Bridge, where Otto's kind of rampaging, throwing shit with the arms, and he's like, "Oh, do you think your fancy suit can save you, Peter?" And then we see Peter like pop the arms out of the Iron Spider, and Doc turns to the one tentacle and goes, "Looks like we have competition." That was the one I've seen the most of, and it is at that point that I went, and I am done keeping up with the marketing intentionally now. This is the moment where I completely check out because I do not want to see a lick more before the movie. I am already aware of too much. Thanks to some people, Jonathan, that I am good on marketing for now. But yeah, no, I think it showed the perfect amount. It's a tough road to hoe with the Toby and Andrew stuff because, let's call it what it is. Having like showing all of showing that let's go back to the first trailer for a moment. You show the pumpkin bomb, you show Sandman and Electro in the one scene, not directly, but you see the lightning and you see the sand. You see the pumpkin bomb, and then at the end, the tentacles. Hello, Peter. It's like, okay, you kind of indirectly confirm in that moment what we're going to see, and that we're getting into a situation where it's going to be this big multiversal, like you were saying, Fearsome 5, maybe Sinister 6. We'll see if we'll get a sixth member or not. Sony and Marvel have a really difficult situation on their hands because I don't know what the right move is. If they show Toby and Andrew's arrival, or but by the same token, haven't you already implied it so much by having these other villains be present? There also is an element that with them not showing Toby and Andrew, and I put this on Twitter, and Pete from Around the Galaxy and your co-host Bill very funnily replied to it, and I think it's worth bringing up that I'm afraid my biggest fear with this movie is that going into it, we're all expecting Toby and Andrew and all this stuff, and while I do think they're in it, I don't want that to be all the movie has. I'm really hoping this movie has a deep emotional core the way that its two predecessors have, and I'm very afraid of there being we are going to rely on nostalgia and reveals to get us through the movie. The way that like there are certain, and I compared it to The Rise of Skywalker, and even said that like the way that people pretend The Force Awakens is, that it's just like every 10 to 15 minutes, boom, nostalgia shot. And I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think that's going to happen. But like it's kind of it's kind of gnawing in the back of my head, if that makes sense, that like that would be an issue. This trailer has absolutely alleviated some of that. That like the whole movie is not going to rely solely on boom, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And like we're gonna ride this movie out to that moment and then throw every moment of character development and growth out of the window to focus solely on the other two Spider-Men arriving. We're going to have time with these guys and time with Tom and MJ and Ned and Happy and May and Strange to all just kind of live in this moment that is this movie. And it's really shaping up to seem like the deep Spider-Man story that I'm hoping we get beyond the spectacle of the Spider Trinity teaming up.
I mean, again, you bring up like Han with the Force, or you brought up like with the Force Awakens. I guess I would honestly kind of compare Tobey and Andrew to Han in that movie. Like, I think they come along and greatly help our protagonists, and like it's not the Han Solo's movie, but like he definitely helps, and he's extremely one of the highlights of the Force Awakens for me.
Yeah,
because I don't think they're just in the last battle. Like, I think we're gonna get like a decent amount of them. Like, I hope we get a decent amount of them.
Well, it looks as though. And this is trailer talk, so like there's going to be speculation and discussion of stuff. It's that time. That shot from the trailer, the Brazilian release.
Also, all this shit is intentional from Sony. This is one of the greatest marketing campaigns I've ever seen in my entire life. In that I firmly believe Sony is behind every one of these leaks. I think they directly sent I don't know about the John Campea thing, but I truly believe that the Andrew Garfield 4K video was uploaded to 4chan by Sony. It was uploaded anonymously. Some guy just found it on 4chan and then claimed credit for it. This guy's Spider fan who we all hate now. But like, I firmly believe that all of this stuff is Sony just like putting out free marketing, and it's honestly genius. I'm fully bought into that idea. Like, this was definitely intentional. Like, there's an arm floating in one of the shots. And it's like it's pretty easily one of the Spider-Man's arms, like Toby or Andrew. Like you're telling me that you worked on this like you edited this trailer for months. The trailer has been done for months, and you forgot the arm and you forgot this punch scene from the Brazilian ad. There is no way, no way.
Yeah, so I am inclined to agree that there is more of Toby and Andrew than just the final battle. Um, because I don't know, like that moment where like I think they're all going to the Captain America-ified Statue of Liberty together. I think that I I don't know how much we're getting of them, but I know I think we're getting more than just them arriving for the final battle. I don't know how I feel about whether or not Sony is responsible for any of the leaks.
If they are, it is brilliant. It's free marketing. It's brilliant.
It's so I don't know. I think it's something we'll learn one day as to how much was actually happening behind closed doors. I think that maybe a little bit is out there. Like I think they may have like done a little bit. I think that there came a point where they were like, "Hey, Alfred, if they ask you a question on this red carpet, tell them your back is Doc Ock." You know, but like where Alfred Molina is allowed to be like, "Oh no, I'm not playing Doc Ock," and Andrew Garfield's doing that. "I'm not the fucking werewolf, man. I'm not the fucking werewolf." You know, we're like, there's so much happening that like I can't keep it straight. There's like it feels like everybody and their mother has been told personally by Tobey Maguire that he's in the movie.
Well, the
Which,
Andrew Garfield video is in 4K. That's my thing. How does a 4K video come out like that? 4K! And they even were able to upscale it to 8K.
And then there was the whole, "Oh, it's a deep fake." No, it's actually not a deep fake. Here's me proving.
You don't want to get into that one with me, buddy. There's some history beyond that one.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, like, there is so much weird, like, convoluted nonsense around the nature of what's going on with these spoilers and these leaks that it's so hard to keep track of all of it. And I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love trailers like this because, again, another comparison to The Rise of Skywalker, and this is a good one with the marketing, was that the first trailer for both, you don't see like it's very much the textbook definitions of teaser and trailer, where the first for both is very much a bare bone. This is a Spider-Man movie. Doctor Strange will be in this Spider-Man movie. We're responding to what happened in the last movie. Oh shit, here's Green Goblin, here's Doc Ock. Get your tickets, bitch. Same kind of thing with like Rise of Skywalker, which like textbook teaser, where it's like money shot, money shot, really money shot, money shot, money shot. At the end, get your tickets, bitch. Second trailer, like you already know the things that you know from the first trailer, so that's coloring how you're experiencing this. Plus, again, the way I keep comparing these movies, myriad leaks about what's happening here that kind of expand upon that, and then you start getting extra pieces of the puzzle. We see Doc Ock in the magic prison. You know, we get this extra element of Peter not wanting to send these villains to their deaths, which is brilliant. And I can't wait. I think how I think this is going down, and I want to hear what you think as well. Peter doesn't want to send the villains back, and the only villains we have are the ones who die fighting Peter Parker in their universe. Because I know when Strange says that, and we're like, well, what the hell is Sandman and Lizard doing here? Because both of them survived fighting Peter Parker. They just went to prison, or, Peter let Marco get away because forgiveness or whatever. So I think Dr. Octopus, the Green Goblin, and Electro are the only three that break through initially. Because we keep skipping over the fact that Green Goblin shows up on the bridge. And for the amount of footage we've gotten from the bridge, we have only seen Goblin dropping a pumpkin bomb and him like flying through the smoke in his classic outfit from Spider-Man 1. So I think that we see Peter defeat Green Goblin and Doc Ock and Electro at about like the back half of the first act and the first half of the second act is the time that takes up. Peter then finds out when they're sent back to their universes, they will die. And that revelation makes Peter do the whole, oh yeah, I'm sorry too. He and Strange fight over what that box, which I think is on some Doctor Who bullshit, and bigger on the inside. That's what's holding the villains. Him messing around and wanting to keep them in our dimension longer is making, or our dimension, the MCU timeline, dimension, universe, whatever. He keeps them in there longer, which is like making the fault lines between each reality a little weaker. And that's when the Lizard and the Sandman start to creep through and sets the precedent for potentially our other two Spider-Men to arrive. That's how I think this is kind of playing out. Because again, there's like weird little inconsistencies in the dialogue. I also think there's a chance that we're still, let's say Toby and Andrew are in it. We're getting their versions of Spider-Man, like directly. Like pluck them from each universe. I'm still not completely sold we are getting each version of these villains as they were in their own universe. Because like Doc Ock is fully dressed, and I know it's stupid, but like he doesn't look like he did in Spider-Man 2. And I don't mean like, oh, he's aged, he's, like anything like that. Like he's wearing different clothes. Like throughout most of Spider-Man 2, he's just wearing he's wearing a duster over, or he's wearing a duster under a trench coat with no shirt on. And here he's got that nice like black turtleneck, and Electro actually looks like Jamie Foxx and has yellow lightning. And we can talk about the arc reactor theory if we want to, which I hope that's the case. I think there's a little nuances here that might mean that these are different versions of the characters, which again, if they are different versions of the villains, throw what I said out of the window completely. Then maybe this version of the Lizard did die fighting Spider-Man. Maybe this Flint Marco did die fighting him. Maybe the new Goblin actually killed him with a pumpkin bomb in that version of Spider-Man 3. Who knows? But I don't know. There's a part of me that's inclined to like try to write away some of these weird inconsistencies. But then again, it's a fun comic book movie. Who says Doc Ock didn't find time to get a turtleneck? I don't know.
What if there's like a dude just chilling under the bridge and he just goes and takes his clothes? It's like, what if he's wearing just a turtleneck sweater? He just goes and takes his clothes. In terms of the villains, it's hard because like even today, like do you know who Daniel RPK is?
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah, like he shared a bit of news today about No Way Home. So like I'm trying to like say, because I'm trying to not spoil. I guess I don't know what you would consider a spoiler, but like I'm trying not to like give any information that like someone who is listening to this may not want to know. So like I have direct answers for all of your questions. I just don't really want to like say them, because if I put them as my own theory, like that's kind of bullshit because like I've heard on Twitter like stuff that how it is, but I do think they're all from their own or from like the universe that we have seen them in, and like I think there's like a really good explanation of why Sandman and Little Lizard, like those guys didn't die from what we've seen from the Spider-Man movies. So like how like what does that mean with they've all died fighting Spider-Man? I think like there's an interesting answer to that we might see in the movie, but I just don't want to say it now in case like that is true, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And with all the Spider-Man stuff, it's become incredibly difficult to want to cover rumors. You know, it's like because we've seen so much come true. I never wanted to touch it. You know, it was like one of those. I like again going back to the Rise of Skywalker because again with all the leaks and like the marketing, it feels like Rise of Skywalker season again for some reason. You know, and disclaimer: Jason Ward is a bastard, and I'll reiterate that several times while I tell this story. Back whenever we were still with Back Discussion, we were doing a series of audio commentaries leading up to Rise of Skywalker, like of the Skywalker saga, and we had Jason on, that bastard, for the Revenge of the Sith, and we were talking to him afterwards, and Travis and I were like, "Hey," because there was a leak that week, and I was like, honestly, if this comes to pass, I need to know if this is true or not, so I can like prepare for this in the movie because I don't know how I feel about this, and like I need to like figure out how I feel about this decision with the narrative before I go in. And then Jason starts explaining about like all of the chaos behind the scenes, but like the way he was talking was this very, I don't know if this is true. This is a thing that I've heard, da 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 da. And we couldn't tell what was fact, what was speculation on his part, what was hearsay, what he thought was happening. And it was just this big like clusterfuck of like him basically telling us how the movie ended and us not realizing what he was saying until we all saw the movie and went, oh my damn. We've seen the ending now. So I 100% get what you're saying, and like it's so hard to keep track of all of that. Yeah, you can, Trey. You give us too much credit for being professional around here. Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I've been bumping myself out of the stream to cough over the last couple weeks. You have zero issue there. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of weird gray area with trying to cover this movie at this point. You know, like a couple months ago, we had our little weird exclusive where we found that call list, and you know, pre trailers, the Campia leaks, there has been no real way to know what is safe to cover. You know, it's become really weird. Like there have been leaks that I've seen and read that I refuse to touch. And we talked about that like maybe 3-4 weeks ago, where it's like, I've seen some shit. I think I might know how the movie ends now because I read something and I didn't want to. Same with the leaks with Campia. Like I've seen seeming confirmation of plot details that I'm a little uncomfy with knowing this early in the game. And it's weird because like it's all couched in this amazing trailer that, you know, again, I think textbook gave us exactly what we needed. I'm very interested to pick your brain when we're not on a hot microphone about the villain stuff. But yeah, okay.
I haven't felt this way since The Force Awakens with like a movie. Just how how obsessed I am with it. You know, like it's frustrating. Like it was frustrating before both trailers came out, trying to pin down when the trailer would drop. Like there's this Reddit thread I'm in, and it's on Marvel Studios spoilers Reddit page, and it's like this mega thread of speculation date for the first trailer, and we're at 75,000 comments in that chat since May. And it's like it's become this like community of people, and it's insane. They made a group chat of people. Like there's this person named My Time to Shine Hello, who is like the main leaker for this movie, who was in our group chat. and it's like it's just gone nuts. So like it's like this whole community on Reddit that like is just so excited for this movie. And everyone's just like, it's honestly frustrating, like how excited I am for this. Like I'm checking Reddit every hour and stuff, and it's just like, it's like this crazy event that when it's all over, it's like going to be sad, you know?
Yeah, I agree completely. And maybe it's that feeling that like is what's bringing me back to the Rise of Skywalker comparisons, because like that was my level of excitement for that movie, you know, and it certainly came out. And I don't know, it's weird, but I think that's kind of where I'm at too. Is that same level of excitement and like wanting to know what's happening, but also kind of reaching the point where I don't want to like, I don't want to know anymore, but by the same token, there's like so much that I've seen that there's no way that I can be free of spoilers at this point.
You can't,
which
be
is
on
weird.
Twitter
And again, like,
and totally be free of spoilers.
And the craziest thing is that Sony's marketing, like their actual what they've given us, has been perfect. Like, if the rumor and leak mill had calmed down at rumors about Toby and Andrew and the Sinister Six, like, or what we have of a Sinister Six at least, like if things had calmed down months ago and people just kind of like slowly walked away with their hands up and stopped leaking details, which again, in my opinion, not all spoilers and leaks are created equal. I'm happy I saw that leak of Green Goblin's second suit of armor, because if I didn't see that, I would be going, who's the second Green Goblin? Now I know Willem Dafoe just changes costumes in this movie. Or even it's just the battle damaged version of his original suit. I don't know. But either way, you know, showing me a costume is one thing. Showing a scene from the movie, John, is different. So like if we had stopped speculation of them maybe being in it and left it at them maybe being there, and then we got this marketing, I would be like, I'm obviously went apeshit when I watched all of the trailers. There would just be something a little bit more pure here. And it's weird because like, and I every time I talk about this movie, I realize I'm making it sound like I'm really dreading it, and I'm not. Like, this is my most anticipated movie of the year. You know, it's my favorite superhero. It's one of my favorite types of stories for this character. Both of my favorite villains are in it. Like, I have every reason to be chomping at the bit for this movie, but there's a part of me that is like, we maybe, you know, to say what you said earlier, I think the fans and the fan community and the scoopers and the leakers maybe girl bossed a little too close to the sun. In some ways, I think that we kind of played ourselves and have like kind of like tarnished our ability to enjoy it just slightly, but that doesn't change the fact that like this looks incredible. And I think we're on the way to a really good movie. What do you think is happening with MJ at the end of this trailer?
You know what happens. Andrew Garfield. And that's not, I swear to God, I have not, that's just a theory. Like, that's not me spoiling
anything.
I
believe you.
I've been really careful about what I've said on this show. And I think I think we see a shot of him like zoomed in on his eye. We get a flashback to Gwen, and then we see him save her. And then like it's like this awesome redemption arc that not redemption arc, but it's this awesome continuation of that arc that we haven't been able to see. And it like gives us a little bit of closure, you know. I fully want that. Andrew Garfield right here, my Spider-Man. He's my favorite Spider-Man. I love his interpretation of it. He's my favorite film Spider-Man. Yuri Lowenthal from Spider-Man PS4. That's my favorite Spider-Man I've ever seen in anything. But he's my favorite film Spider-Man, and I cannot wait for that. and then the rumored lawyer in this movie. Those are my two favorite characters, and my two favorite, those are my two favorite, probably comic book portrayals besides Ben Affleck as Batman of anything. Like more than Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, those two playing those characters are my favorite comic book actors. And
I too am really hoping
header,
and excited for rumored
it's
lawyer.
my Twitter header. Like I am a huge fan of that character. And if you told me that this was that was the only big name we were gonna get, I'm fine with them. I would have possibly even preferred a film with that character and Spider-Man teaming up and it just being about that. That was honestly my pitch for this movie. I wrote a whole article about how Kingpin finds out who Spider-Man is because of his name, and then Kingpin goes after Spider-Man, and rumored character, rumored lawyer, and Peter Parker team up. Hey, man, this could be about She-Hulk. Who knows? Team up, and it's this really on the ground story, and it's kind of a really gritty kind of film. I think that would have been really cool too. Obviously excited for what we're getting because it's crazy things. I love Doc Ock and I love Green Goblin, and I really like Sandman as a villain too. I'm really excited to see those characters back, but I'm also I'm really hoping we get a Spider-Man and blind lawyer show at some point on Disney Plus. If those two characters ever interact more, which I hope they do, that's my dream. That's those are my favorite superheroes ever. So even with that, I am sold on this movie. So it just feels like it has everything that I want in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, me too. And I think one of the reasons why I've kept myself at arm's length with completely believing anything about the movie has been how much of the movie feels like something that the fans willed into existence. In between Endgame comes out in the middle of 2019 and any official announcements about the third MCU Spider-Man movie.
We thought it was going to be Craven. I remember when that was a thing.
That window was filled with so much. We want a live action Spider-Verse, and we want to see Peter Parker team up with an attorney. And that part of me just kept everything at arm's length with the rumors, because those two things became the backbone of all of the actual speculation. And whether or not, again, I'm hoping for both of those things to actually come to fruition. I can't tell myself it is happening until I see it on the big screen. And I'm going to, again, kind of arm's length all of it, even though Toby and Andrew feel like a foregone conclusion at this point. But yeah, I think that's all we got. This is an incredible trailer. I can't wait for the movie itself. There will probably be a final theory episode, we're locking in theories for the movie.
Be another trailer for this movie.
God, I hope not. I really hope not.
November 29th, when the tickets go on sale. The last film Sony marketed was Ghostbusters, and there was a trailer on the day that movie released, and certain scoopers have said that there may be another trailer. So I hope it's a 1 minute trailer. I don't need another full trailer, because like I said, you said, we've seen and known and read a lot about this movie. So
if they show anything,
if they confirm, if we get two shadows of the two other Spider-Man, I'm happy, just because one of the things that we have not talked about that is really important to me is I don't think it's going to happen, but I really want there to be press of Toby and Andrew. I want Toby, Andrew, and Tom to all go on Jimmy Kimmel together and talk about what it was like filming this movie together. That's a big deal to me. Having all three of them together for the press, what are we going to do when Andrew and are Andrew and Toby not going to go to the premiere of the film they're in? all because of this stupid secrecy. Like, I get not showing their action, but just confirm that they're in the movie so that you can stop asking Andrew Garfield every freaking opportunity you get. Is he in Spider-Man when he's like promoting Tick Tick Boom, a film that he absolutely killed it in and is probably going to get nominated for Best Picture. But all he gets asked is about freaking Spider-Man. So if you actually just, you allude to them the tiniest bit, we don't even need to see them. At that point, you can stop asking these people if they're in Spider-Man, because it's really frustrating to me, and I can't imagine how frustrating it is to these actors.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't know what the right move is with any of that. And I'm surprised that Sony's outward strategy has been so restrained, because I truly thought by trailer 2, we would have just seen a portal with, Toby, Andrew, Japanese 70s Spider-Man riding Leopardon, like everybody,
Yeah.
funneling through it. But yeah, we will do. I want to do, before the movie comes out, like the week of, like a final, we are locking in our theories for this movie episode. Try to have a few guests on for that. But you guys know it's a 50-50 chance when I start trying to figure a show out like that this early in advance. So, Trey, where can the lovely people find you and all that you do, buddy?
Boom. Right here on Twitter. I tweet a lot. I don't try to talk about the stuff that I don't like. There's enough of that on Twitter. So you don't really ever hear me talking about like, oh, hey, I don't like this thing in Spider-Man 3, or like, I don't like this thing in Star Wars. It's more just like, wow, I can't believe that we're getting this movie. Like, that's so amazing. So if you want someone who's, and I will never share a leak. Unlike some other people that certain people follow, they share leaks to prove a point. I will never do that. I never share leaks. I've never even liked a leak on Twitter, in case someone has their Twitter algorithm to that weird way where you can see what tweets people like. I will never understand that. I don't want to see what Bill Sheehy likes on Twitter. Who knows what the god that guy likes on Twitter? It could be scary stuff, man. So, anyways,
people openly liking The Rise of Skywalker more than the.
Yeah, I mean, Bill's probably looking up some freaky Babu Frick stuff. Who knows? But who knows what that guy's history is? But yeah, and then I have a podcast at Skywalking Through the League, or at Skywalking TL on Twitter, and we just came out with a new logo, which I will pull up. We have stickers you can buy and support us. It's a very cool logo, and I'm pulling that up now. It's Bill and I dunking the Death Star, which is pretty cool. So you can buy stickers of that, which I just did today. I just bought 2 stickers of them, and yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. And we talked about my trip to LA on the last show, and just talked about kind of what I went through and talked about today. So yeah, subscribe to us on everything.
Please do. I love me some Skywalking Through the League. As I've mentioned before, I've talked about Schrodinger's PlayStation, which is the PlayStation I can get my hands on, just haven't yet. COVID was a bit of a setback, but because I have zero impulse control, I've bought a shitload of stickers to put on it, because I love putting stickers on everything, as you all can see here. And as I said on Twitter, and I will reiterate here, I have every intention of getting myself some Skywalking t-shirts and a sticker to write on that PlayStation with all the other homies. But yeah, go check them out. They all do great stuff. I love talking to you guys. You all are a hoot. I still owe you guys a life debt for agreeing to be on that godforsaken Alex Jones stream.
Yeah, who would have thought all the drama that caused?
Most viewed video on the channel, and I didn't want it to happen like that. It's a lovely time. It's great.
People were like, yeah, oh, this guy's yawning about me. No wonder why. I was like, I was tired.
I don't blame you. I'm also glad you think it was about you, because I thought it was about me. So I'm glad that we're all like self-reporting on the yawn.
Yeah, Yawn Gate 2021.
Yawn Gate. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our Patreon, thank you to our $10 alumnus, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, Zach Knaus, Feige's Boomer Burner, and Nick Johnson, and Omaireu Shindeu is how I'm supposed to say it. I think it's the Nani meme, and I can't remember exactly how to say it. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Consider the $5 tier of the Patreon because we are kicking it into high gear for the Versus series. It's that time of year. We got one more episode of the Versus series for the year. We got Lord Hoth versus Darth Vader, and then the Versus series tournament where Spencer and I are basically going to do so like it's a bunch of mini matchups. So like I think over 30 mini matchups using all of the characters we used, kind of remixed. And then for our patrons and maybe general public, if you guys fill out a bracket and your bracket, whoever has the best bracket wins free merch. So do that. Sign up for a Patreon, $5 tier for all of that. And again, chance you'll end up with free merch at the end. Check out Sunday's Bloody Mary. Code TNAP. Go see Spider-Man No Way Home.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things, and class dismissed.
Stop. Move away from the cookie jar.